Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of World News Wednesday, but now it's World News Friday. Basically, we have decided to start posting our box videos on Wednesdays because we can. And now World News Wednesday is now going to be released every Friday. So if you think of an interesting name, preferably with alliteration, comment below. I have factitious Fridays and not fake news Fridays. If you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. So anyways, it's been a busy week. I want to cover a lot of topics. Let's get right into it. First of all, on Saturday we had the Women's March, which I did indeed attend. But I wanted to wear a crown instead of the other hats because it looks better on me. Vote Hail 2036. So as you know, last year there was a huge women's march right after the inauguration of President Donald Trump. Lots of people were protesting the presidency in general, and that did not stop this year. The trend continues. So lots of people at the women's march were protesting a myriad of things, including Trump, sexual harassment, global warming, racism, sexism, the huge. I saw a sign that just said, "I make the best mac and cheese." So there's that. One of my personal favorite parts about the Women's March, I went to the one in Denver, is just all the different types of people that I saw there. I saw an entire coven of witches, and at the same time I saw pro-life women marching alongside us together. And I thought that that was magical. Data from Erica Chenoweth at the University of Denver and Jeremy Pressman at the University of Connecticut reports that between 1.6 million and 2.5 million attended marches around the country. And that is the Women's March. So moving on. Another extremely important thing happened recently, which was the trial of Dr. Larry Nassar, one of the doctors for several U.S. Olympians and countless other young girls in sports and gymnastics. This hearing was really profound because it was different in two ways. First of all, only around 80 women were initially slotted to speak as witnesses against Larry Nassar, but in the end, over 150 women ended up speaking out and using their voice to combat sexual harassment. I think that this really just mirrors what's happening in our society. It's not that coming out about the way that you've been harassed is now a trend or a witch hunt. It's that women have been abused since the beginning of time, and we're saying enough, and we're finally speaking out about it. If you tried to come out about any of this 50 years ago or even 5 years ago, people started talking about Dr. Larry Nassar a year ago, and they weren't taken seriously. Yet here we are, where we have created a society that says we value what you have to say, and we are going to listen to you, and we are going to believe you, and we're going to do something about it. And that's the second thing, is that Larry Nassar received a really intense sentence on top of the fact that he already has 60 years in prison for child pornography. He just received 40 to 175 years in prison. It's something that will not only bring justice to the brave women who spoke out, but will also encourage women to speak out against their abusers, because now we're seeing that if we come out and talk about what's happening, people will listen and they will do something about it. Here are a few clips about this case.
I would like to take just a minute to address the people following this story on multimedia outlets. Quit shaming and blaming the parents. Trust me, you would not have known, and you would not have done anything differently.
We need to call out a deeper issue at hand. We live in a society that does not take action when it is most needed.
MSU Sports Medicine charged me for those appointments. My mom is still getting billed for appointments where I was sexually assaulted. I have never wanted to hate someone in my life, but my hate towards you is uncontrollable. Larry Nassar, I hate you. I will work on forgiving you, as I know that is what God wants. But at this moment, I will leave forgiveness up to Him.
How dare you ask any of us for forgiveness? And how dare you act like you care for a second about our healing? You're a pathetic monster that is only sorry you got caught. I'm here today with all these other women, not victims, but survivors, to tell you face to face that your days of manipulation are over.
Ultimately, Larry, you made a critical mistake.
You underestimated the mind, power, and will of your victims. These amazing, accomplished athletes. While we were mentally strong enough to endure your countless hours of abuse, strong enough to endure the pain of keeping your secret, strong enough to be pushed down and repressed by MSU, USAG, and the USOC, we were ultimately strong enough to take you down.
You may find it harsh, but you are here listening. But nothing is as harsh as what your victims endured for thousands of hours at your hands, collectively. You spent thousands of hours perpetrating criminal sexual conduct on minors. Spending 4 or 5 days listening to them is significantly minor.
The FBI investigated them in 2015 and found nothing substantial because it was medical. Now they are seeking the media attention and financial reward. Would you like to withdraw your plea?
No, Your Honor.
This judge, she's 59 years old, she writes crime novels, and she served 20 years in the Michigan Army National Guard, where her nickname was Barracuda Aquafina. And if that doesn't sound like an amazing woman, I don't know what is an amazing woman. Nothing but respect for my president. Run for president. If you're watching this, Judge Aquafina, please run for president. She assumed a demeanor that isn't normally a judge demeanor. Usually they are very detached, but she was very on the side of the victim, which has sparked some of a controversy. Lots of people are saying that perhaps she was a little too biased or too harsh, and that can be a little bit understandable.
It is my honor and privilege to sentence you because, sir, you do not deserve to walk outside of a prison ever again. I'm giving you 175 years, which is 2,100 months. I just signed your death warrant.
I mean, she's pretty fiery, but she encouraged each and every single one of these young women who spoke out. The words that she spoke to them were inspiring not only to them, but also to women around the world. Just to hear those words of wisdom and to see these women of great strength who are standing up and saying no to someone who hurt them, and also in turn are standing up and grabbing other women by the hand, metaphorically, and saying, you can say no too. You can do something about this. What else is happening in the news? What's trending on Twitter? Let's check, shall we? On a more lighthearted note that's still political, but I just can't escape from politics, so it's fine. Donald Trump asked the Guggenheim Museum for a famous Van Gogh piece, Landscape in the Snow, for his personal living quarters in the White House. And here is this reply from the Guggenheim Museum. We are pleased that they are interested in demonstrating their support for the arts by showcasing treasures from the nation's cultural institutions. I am sorry, however, to inform you that we are unable to participate in the loan, since the painting is part of the museum's Tannhäuser collection, which is prohibited from travel except for the rarest of occasions. It will need to remain on permanent view in our Tannhäuser galleries for the foreseeable futures. So basically, no. Fortunately, a marvelous work by the celebrated contemporary Italian artist Maurizio Cattelan is coming off view today after a year's installation at the Guggenheim, and he would like to offer it to the White House for a long-term loan. It is a solid 18-karat gold toilet that was installed in one of our public restrooms for all to use in a wonderful act of generosity. And the piece is entitled America. So wow. And strangely, a 300-year-old mummy of a woman has been linked as being related to Boris Johnson. Who is Boris Johnson? The British Foreign Secretary. This woman died of syphilis in 1787 in Switzerland and is the great-great-great-great-great-grandmother of the British Foreign Secretary. Boris says he is, quote, very excited to hear about my late great-grandmummy, a pioneer in sexual health care. very proud. That about wraps it up for this episode of World News Friday, or whatever it decides to be called. Please tell me what you think it should be called, and if you have any comments on today's episode, let me know. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you guys next week.